Evening. So, Warrior next. Leveled up the Hunter last week. And while we've still got the old experience buff...
What can I do for you?
Every time I'm on, I think I really ought to be on with another character getting levelled. And of course, we've now had the news, sort of, I need to catch up on the details, that the Shadowlands Alpha is coming out this week. So we'll be able to see a few little shots from that, I guess. Oops, go away. I thought I would do the Warrior. Then in terms of other ones I would like to do, I would still like to do the Rogue and the Death Knight. In terms of a Horde character, I was saying last week, maybe a Demon Hunter for my Horde character, because my Paladin will be going back to the Alliance. Actually, before we mess about with that. Oh, hello. Where's my micro bar gone? Right, I upgraded my hard drive, but I didn't copy across any of my settings for WoW. With the result being that I've got to, and I managed to destroy, it's all a mess. So I've had to set everything up again. But, as you can see, oh dear. It's taking some time. Right, hold on. I'll tell you what, I'll put that there for now. I need to, this is just a quick mock-up, I need to properly sit down and set this up at some point. So, mount, right, I want one that goes with my transmog, but without being too big. I mean, that one I quite like. Actually, yeah, okay, well let's go for that. I used to use that on this character. I don't want to go through any tiny little gaps at the moment. Hold on, what? Oh yeah, I was in the middle of this, wasn't I?
Bring the honor.
Got to remember what my actual binds are as well in this character. You can see I haven't really set her Keeley up properly either. Have I? No. Oh, have I? Hold on.
It is too far away.
I haven't set my thing button either. I'm going to do the fires first, because when I don't do the fires, I always finish everything else off first. And I end up... Game sounds a bit over the top. Oh, I'll turn them down then. I couldn't really tell, because I was having a problem. I need a new microphone, really. Hold on. Right, and then... Because what happens on this microphone, I keep knocking the volume thing. It's very bad. So then I don't know what's normal. You'll have to let me know if that's better. Let me fuss. Got loads of fires. I always despise this bit. I like Stormsong Valley, but this particular bit where you're having to do the fires, but you have to keep going back for a bucket. Have I saved someone? I assume I've just saved someone. Is that a fire? No, that was not a fire. So I've just wasted my bucket. Where's another bucket? One down. 9 to go. Not actually that many fires near these buckets. The Horde could be a bit more considerate and place the fires where there is the water supply. That would help enormously. Oh, what the? I'm trying to trap my attention. 3 more. And then I'll pay attention to the rest of the quest.
I need to get closer.
What I did last time I did this was paid attention to the other bits and did the fires as and when, and then just left myself having to spend ages doing the fires and killing loads of extra mobs. Very inefficient. Oh, that's all the fires done. Great.
I need a target.
Right, what else have we got? More explosives. And there's a thing there. Probably some bomb. Oh, there's one there. Oh. Putting the boost into it. Never mind. Oh, just wrong button.
I am out of range.
No again.
Give me some islands for leveling. I'd prefer... I really hate islands. I cannot tell you how much I hate islands. And I prefer questing leveling, really. I mean, you know, and I could Especially as it's going to explore more of the lands anyway. I'm not going to be able to do some of every zone levelling. I mean, I could do some of the war campaign stuff in the Zanzibar lands and stuff, which obviously at the start of BfA you couldn't do while you were levelling, but now you can. But Islands was one of those things. It's like a nice idea, and I would have quite liked it, only if doing it with people I know. But the idea of doing that in books, well, I'm fairly... Why is that still showing a thing? It's not anymore. I'm fairly sensitive to the idea of pugs in general. Leveling. Right. And all I'm really wanting to do, as I say, just get them ready for Shadowlands. I'm not after doing much, if any, content in BfA really once I've got them ready. Inevitably I'll do some, but I'll just focus on what seems most sensible. And I would argue, well, probably what's most sensible is doing the legendary quest cloak stuff, I guess.
Welcome to the valley.
I was toying with the idea of doing that on my hunters because I just thought, well,
How can I help
no.
you?
Experience buff is active, use the experience buff.
Tides guide you.
I deeply regret not saving my profiles for add-ons. Although sometimes it's fun just to make them up again, I guess.
If you want something done right,
I haven't done any cats from over the year. I think since BfA went live, obviously I tested it in the alpha and beta and so on. Since it went live, I've done one, and that was fairly near the beginning. Let me try and attract my attention. Why isn't it shooting? What the hell? Is it stuck? It's not actually shooting. Shall we try that again? pulled yourself back to ours, but only because of the lockdown, because they're now super easy. The 450 I mean, see, I have nothing I need to do in BfA with characters, for example. Right then. I mean, you know, I've long since stopped playing BfA as such. Really getting ready for Shadowlands. On the off chance that I like Shadowlands, I may not. Meanwhile, remember this zone mostly is a place where Rexar was totally ruined as a character and violated his entire story arc. You know. Well, they do that with everything now. You must expect that every time they feature a character, particularly a character who has very little World of Warcraft input, you know, where they're most, although he has featured, well, he sort of has before, he is essentially established in Warcraft 3. Any such character is not really going to be...
It is too far away.
Come to join the rest of these runs, eh?
is going to be massively changed because the game, the whole narrative has massively changed. Oh, oops, did it again. Looking around my search box, I can't remember.
Quick, let's get out of here.
If there was anything I could have used there. Oh yeah, rallying. Can't remember all my abilities.
The depths spoke of your coming.
Change the rules for Legion race to Legacy instead of personal, so even though most of the transmos from there you try to solo some for gold. Have they already done that? I thought they do that.
I've tried my whole
I thought they used to do that when it was like the expansion before last, or is it? That's okay. Well, that has changed.
Activating countermeasures. Harvest protocol failed.
That was halfway through Nighthold Mythic solo. Which boss becomes a problem, and is it mechanics or just still the fact that it's going to be quite tricky? Maybe I can have a little bit of fun going in with my... I mean, my paladin won't be well geared, of course. Let's see what I can do with a poorly geared Ret paladin.
Not from reindeer, are you?
Children of the sea, today is the dawn of a new age for us.
Hostile entity identified.
House Stormsong must take control of this shattered kingdom and restore it to glory.
They just tried it impromptu, not the real plan, isolation looking all that. I mean, the thing is, in World of Warcraft, it's not the same in all MMOs, but in World of Warcraft,
No more will we work our fields.
every time a new expansion comes out, the old one's invalidated anyway. So, you know, you could certainly argue what's the harm. Or maybe it's the sort of thing you do after the first patch of a new expansion rather than immediately. You know, in case people don't get the expansion immediately and they're still playing the old one. You know, maybe you just do it after the first patch, but there's no real reason not to anyway. It's not like the gear's going to be useful.
Need to get closer.
I mean, there was the odd case in TBC where, in theory, some Nax gear could still be useful, even towards the end of TBC. But that's not really the case now.
Unit deactivated.
I am out of range.
Good that they bought us the loot change, because WoW's auction house gold farm's broken. All prices undercut to the ground. I mean, one thing I need to do, one thing I always say I'm going to do and never do, is get, sell on the auction house my reagents while they're still of some use. So I really ought to do that. But when I tried, I realised that for some reason my auctioning add-on wasn't working.
Together,
so
we shall return to the tides.
I have installed a new one, but I haven't tried it out
Shall
yet.
be powerful.
Yeah, there's no immediate need to do it now. Because again, time limits me. Not when I was spending ages on the auction house. Characters level. And I want to go on Elder Scrolls Online a little bit if I get time this Easter as well, because the new expansion for that is coming out in June. Still, I think. I want to be ready for that. And although I've got my main character could just slip straight into that,
You were too good for this
I am thinking
world,
about
brother.
doing another one, like getting my
I will make
stamina
sure
Templar
you
up.
receive a proper burial.
So I could do with getting him sorted. Right, what are we doing here? If that upgrades, that would be an upgrade. Let's do that. It did not, never mind.
Finally, some action.
Oh, let's have a look. Spellblade, Aluriel, took me a few times. The ad doing the knockback and all that. Oh yeah, okay. Croesus. Yeah, unless you can properly beast Croesus, you've got problems with the ads on that, I suppose, haven't you? Because you can't. They stay in position. It's not like the old swarm on you, even to just AoE. All of them are easy on normal though, even Tomb and on Taurus. Okay. Well, let's have a little look here then. Just, maybe out of a bit of interest, I'd go through with my Demon Hunter. Or with my Paladin on the Demon Hunter. Let's see now. Legion. What would normal and Taurus yield? 195 item level. What's that compared with what I've got here? I mean, the problem is, of course, on my Demon Hunter I would be using heirloom gear. But, yeah, it might be worth just for a laugh. Reasonable chance of getting a couple of legendaries as well, I guess. I could think of it that way.
Let us see this done.
Right, this is the one where I mustn't forget to do the bells.
Must have for my house.
Never mind. BfA quest rewards never forge up in item level. They only gain corruption or tertiary stats. Or a gem slot. What? Oh. Oh, that's crap.
My heart belongs to this valley.
Oh, thank the tides, not everyone has lost their damn mind. Half the house is gone. Creatures stand.
Tide Mother, cleanse your wicked
Our master beneath the tides will guide us all to victory.
Hang on a minute, something's not right here. Get the quest so I can click on this.
Target something first.
to the depths. May the abyssal depths welcome your weary soul.
Stuff your hard day's work can't fix.
Make your way to the
There it is.
shoreline on the other side of the yard. Proud more. Fly, you fool!
Our master beneath the tides will
House Stormsong will rule this land. You will kneel before your queen. I'll have you drawn and quartered for that. Take you.
I know not what darkness took your mind, sister, but it will torment our people. Run to your families. We will settle this. You are free now, brothers and sisters. Your intrepid spirit will rest forevermore. Begone! Your work is done. Fear not, brother. The waves judge not your steps. A bit waterlogged, but still legible. Wonder not for whom the lighthouse shines. It shines for whom. Hear the storms. And it is not safe here. You must leave this place. Let your soul wash away its mortal shell. Flow into the waters. Not let these lost souls wander any longer. I will have words with you, friend.
And R&D. Yeah, someone was telling me the new thingy DKs. I was going to have a go at it, wasn't I, before? I forgot. Or, or did I try and have a go at it? It didn't show it. And it was because I was using the, like, this account doesn't have the upgrade to Shadowlands or something. The other one does. I don't know. I'll have a look at it at some point.
break time is over, louse.
although I love my Pandaren Warrior and Monk into it, I don't really fancy a Pandaren generally, other than potentially just to see that starting quest. Could try it with Dark Iron or Lightforge or whatever, yeah. I couldn't.
Is a safe one.
I suppose, like, well, I do have some allied races unlocked from Legion.
I will prepare the ritual
so, yeah, Lightforge I could do, I
guess.
guess.
Meet me by the shoreline just north of here.
Get up on the water, what's up here? Oh, is this because it doesn't walk on water anymore because you've got to put icons into your mounts? Balls. In which case, what use is this?
What's the situation?
We're in this together. Name's Sam. Sam Williams. Glad to have someone with a weapon on our side for a change.
I wouldn't have minded unlocking Dark Irons, I have to say.
Release the souls,
but I'm also not really prepared to spend a lot of time doing it. But we'll see if I happen to do it before Shadowlands is out.
Return to the storm and know peace. Flow through the shrine, so we might share your strength. The storm awakens. It is done.
Together we can unify Kultiras.
Not bad.
There's nothing a hard day's work can't fix.
Listen up! We need to get you ready to fight. And quick.
Right, what is this? Just to see. No.
I have many, many wares.
Oh, has it not got auto thingies?
Many farewells.
We need to deal with that. Where's auto repair now? Balls. Everything will be in a different place now. Bags, is it? Vendor Graze. Enable.
I have many lucky doos you like.
Suspect I'm not interested in that either. Let's see. Maybe. What can be done on the way?
I need to get closer. I am out of range.
Relieved.
Intruder alert.
Feeling more fluid than ours right now. I mean, I've no idea. Traditionally, I've only liked Fury. I did, even in Vanilla I liked Fury. It's just that I leveled a couple of warriors, never to 60. I got one to 50 once before I deleted it because I didn't like his face. Literally that. But certainly from Wrath of the Lich King, there's been one reason for me to want to play Fury ideally, as long as I'm just doing it casually, and that is the dual wield in the old two-handers. I did actually play arms a bit when I needed to play, albeit unannounced, like when I was doing some light alt raids and stuff, I wanted to play it properly. A little bit. But yeah, if I'm just going to do it casually, I'll just do that regardless of which one is the best. Because that is the most awesome stance in the game, and that is why it will always be a Pandaren that I have as my warrior. It is the dual wielding stance for Pandaren is second to none, and of course Fury warriors get the dual wield too. So by definition they are the purest stance. Level your warrior mostly in arms and vanilla, but in the transition to Burning Crusade. Oh yeah. Well, see, I like the style of Fury. So if you're not having to consider which is the best, like you're not going to play it in any sort of more difficult content. I just prefer the style of dual wielding. Like, you know, with my Death Knight, although again when I've done alt raids I've generally played Unholy, I prefer to play it as Frost, not because I particularly prefer Frost, because I generally don't,
Activating countermeasures.
but just because it gets to dual wield. You know, I like dual wielding. In fact, it created a bit of a weird situation when I played Warhammer Online. So I naturally gravitated towards the warrior priest because it was a healer, but also like it was the most obviously paladin type. There wasn't really a paladin type thing in it, but you know, that was the sort of closest. It was a holy warrior basically. And then I'd nearly got it to level cap, and then I just suddenly switched to destruction side. So I made the equivalent, which was a disciple of Cain, really because it dual wields. It was simple as that, which turned out to be a really good thing because I got in with a really nice guild and ended up doing a load of PvP with it, including every now and then smashing my old guild mates when I was on the order side. It was good fun. Although, you know, now I say that when I'm on that Elder Scrolls Online character that I'm on, well, I haven't been on it for ages, I need to get on it before the next expansion comes out. So the Stamina Temple there, but it at the moment is levelling two-handed weapon, not dual wield, but it will be doing dual wield as well. At some point. What do I need? More blueprints. Who's got blueprints? You might have blueprints. Your DK was Frost because the tank spec used to be Frost at Wrath. Yes, it did. Yeah, Death Knight didn't know what it was up to. It's like it had all the way, and it changed quite a lot through the beta as well. I played in the beta, and Death Knight's changed a hell of a lot during that. I mean, it was the first time they introduced a new class, fair enough, but all the way through Wrath it changed as well. It was quite spectacular, right? We had, and I actually suspect it had changed a little bit more than some people gave it credit for at the start of that. But in my guild, and my guild was a good guild at the time. It was you know, well inside the top 100, and you know, we had blood DKs as DPS, and we didn't really use the frost as tank because the problem was dual wielding. Even though there were talents to help you manage it, you were still talking about a scenario where you were dual wielding as a tank. Now that's a bit of a problem, because if you get parried, you get smashed in the face. And at the start of Wrath, that was a bit of a problem. It's alright giving you extra stamina. If you can't stop yourself being parried, you're going to get smashed in the face.
I've always dreamed of adventure.
Hi Dan. Oh, I must choose a... Oh yeah, that one. Just for transmog purposes. That's rubbish. That is not rubbish, so we'll have that. Oh, I must already have it in my transmog. Okay,
My heart
fair
belongs
enough.
to this valley.
I'm not quite sure who from. Yeah, that's confusing
Home
actually.
is where the valley is.
Tides bless you.
Um,
I feel Reed's power calling out like a beacon. Quickly!
in your opinion, Titan's Grit was the worst decision Blizzard ever made. Totally broke the fantasy balance with 2 DPS specs and even removed one-handed option in Legion. Well, I mean, that's a separate thing in Legion, of course, because ultimately you were told what you were going to be wearing. I mean, you think about casters, for example. So you'd have some casters who like to use a staff, and you'd have some casters that like to use a one-hander and an offhand. Whereas in Legion, of course, it was like, no, you're using a staff or one-hander, whatever, depending on which spec you're playing. So that was the main downside to the artifact weapon system. Huge downside.
Reed! The fleet must be returned to Kultiras at once.
But, I mean,
Tides shift, brother.
I can understand what you'd be
If you
saying
do
about
not
Titan's
stand
Grip.
with us,
But I'm
then
sorry,
you are
it's
lost.
just...
It is you who are lost.
It's cool. It's so cool. Oh, hello. I should be doing my job. I'm not paid to stand around and control.
you were always too weak to serve by Lord Stormsong's side. Languishing in Benedum like a...
Swore to protect Benedum. To protect our people. Have you forgotten our oaths?
Great one deep below. By our will, we shall be whole once more!
Those voices offer only lies.
I bore this crown. I have much to prepare. Deal with them.
Tell me when I'm still on here either. I'm going to need that at some point. So many add-ons I have to set up. It takes so long to do it. I'll just have to be transparent. To an old school Fury, certainly, I agree. You know, there is something quite nice about dual wielding one-handers as well, and for in most circumstances that's what I would want to do. But literally, Pandaren have the coolest two-handed stance, and to have two of them is doubly awesome. If not quadruple, it might be a natural square law here going on. Right, we don't want either of those.
There is a bridge nearby that has clear sight of the Shrine of the Storm. The omen comes from there. Long has my order listened to the sea to guide our ships and our people. Gentle whispers.
But Legion, I did always feel a bit bad for people who ended up playing a spec where, you know, where their class and spec has a choice normally of weapons. I mean, I didn't obviously experience it as a ret because you always use two-handers anyway.
brothers and
And also, we were one of the 2 specs that was given a genuinely iconic weapon as well, so there's nothing to complain about today. But yeah, I did feel particularly sorry for casters. I felt sorry for things. You know, I mean, hunters to a lesser extent as well. I mean, that's where I did suffer a bit. Because on my Night Elf hunter, I really didn't want to go.
Stories
always want
used to warn of the danger of peering too deep.
But there I had
with
to
our
use a gun.
If they walk among us, the fleet is in grave danger. We stand with you for the storm's wake. Tides bless you.
Those bastards will pay for what they've
It's a
done.
style thing though, isn't it, Laertes? It's just what people prefer.
Sam, no!
Let him go, Talia. We Tide Sages have long guided lost
can I help?
souls of
Duty
sea,
calls.
but not like
And when you sort of invest yourself in a character has a particular style, and then that style is sort of taken from you after a while, it's a bit annoying for some people. And for some people, wouldn't it?
I will live eternal in this.
I mean, I really didn't like the removal of Hammer of Wrath for Rets in Legion. Because it's something of a meme, but it did used to happen where, you know, often when you kill a boss for the first time in a raid boss, you can sometimes be in a situation where it's just really 1 or 2 people left alive taking on the last 1 or 2%. And, oh, what have I got? Oh, horsey. I've got a horsey. Let us see here. Is it a nice horsey? Oh. Golden Maiden. It's alright. So we'll put it there. Right. What would it look like with a Pandaren sat on top of it? Oh no! The Paladin mount is superb. The one from Vanilla, absolutely superb. I've no reason to ever need to ride anything else on my Paladin. They should have though. They absolutely missed a trick in Legion when they did the flying mounts. They should have
Tides consume your wicked flesh.
given us a Pegasus mount. We've been crying out for it for years. We had the opportunity in Legion. And then they gave us a Lego horse. Didn't even have wings. Just let one-handers be transmounted to... I mean, they could. I mean, they have expanded the scope of transmog with weapons in recent years, although they always seem to want to keep the brakes on it a bit. I don't know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, Hammer of Wrath. The idea that, you know, on a first boss kill you might end up in your bubble killing it with Hammer of Wrath. I've done that a couple of times. First boss kill. Always epic. Completely denied in Legion. Couldn't do it. Wasn't a possibility. And it also means as well, you know, when you're at the end of a boss fight, and it's one of those boss fights where there's a load of shit everywhere on the floor and you can't get to the bloody boss half the time, you still had something you could use. Obviously you had a cooldown. So I was desperately distraught when they removed that. Because I remember when Hammer of Wrath came in the game, it was not there at the start of Vanilla, it came in partway through, halfway through I think. Hammer of Wrath and I have many good times. Missing the Raptor from Arathi and the Chimera from Darkshore in terms of BfA mounts. Oh, yeah. I did get, when I was leveling on my Paladin on Horde, a hyena mount. Oh, God, that's it. I do need to do the B mounts and get someone told me about the B mount quest quite a few weeks ago now. When I started doing streams again. I'll have to get on with that at some point. But at the moment, like, time is not in my favour. Because although this corona crisis is giving some people extra time, it's giving me less time. It turned out to be an extremely bad time to achieve
I need a target.
Oh. But hopefully I have a bit of time over the next couple of weeks with Easter, and hopefully a bit more time this summer as well. I've got an inkling that one will smash my face in. So it's good.
Begone, wretched darkness.
Oops. Alright, we done? Let's give it a little ride then. New mount. Always got to ride a new mount around for a bit.
Well, stay on course.
I am listening.
That look good? Not really, no. But at the same time, it's still a... Maybe I'm just not getting notifications when things are added to the
I should be able to clarify it.
the wardrobe, because I'm pretty sure no one else could have got that. Paladin leveled up as well.
How can I help? Come back with the stories.
What do you want me to do now?
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles. Like you. Farewell, friend of the Grummles.
Get it to auto repair as well. Now, this means getting up on the ship, I suppose. Oh, fell off. What am I supposed to do here?
Live eternal in the abyss.
If the wait for Shadowlands is too long, you might find it worthwhile to grind down with the light rep. I mean, depends what you call too long at the end of the day. If the alpha is only going, the open alpha is only going out this week, it's not going to be much before Christmas. This does not seem to work. Alright then. Very confusing when you get all these bars all over the place. Uh-oh. This is not good. Am I... has the game lagged out? Because that would explain many things. Oh. What was going on there? Orange Cultish Right is the quest. Yeah, no, I had that, but when I used it on the other one, it didn't do anything. But then, when I arrived, when I got that guy and it wouldn't let me charge it, it was almost as if I'd lagged out, and then I wandered away and he just came back. So I think that's what happened. I think there was a bit of lag that was not obvious in any other way. Although that is also not working. And now it is. That title, you stop working for a legion of killing 10,000 non-trivial demons. Stand still. Something very funny going on here. They don't seem to be functioning properly. Anyway, I shouldn't be here because I've done that side of the ship. I'll find someone. Who seem... oh.
Drink in the infinite void!
Right. All I know is things that I want are up some stairs. Now I seem to remember having done this quest in the past and struggled quite a bit with it to find this lost person. And I'll get those bars off because that's not helping.
Know the embrace of true nothingness.
Seem to be up to here.
I sleep only to wake.
Sometimes I have to do a target. Yeah, I mean I could have put the bars back on again. I suppose, but there's only so many bars in there. I knew it wasn't below decks, so it had to be up somewhere.
thought I was a goner. I'll find my way out of here. Be careful.
We've got those back on now.
My soul to the ancient one.
Who's shooting at me?
The storm awakens in all of us. Kara's guide you.
We're in this together. I've got your back if you've got mine.
The depths spoke of your coming. Step into the storm, so we may finish this. Great storms upon the sea, heed my call! Smite this wretched vessel, and free our people! The storm awakens in all of us.
Ah, that got a rare
We should
upgrade.
strike now, before word reaches Lord Stormsong.
I'll be right behind you. No need to wait for me.
Beneath the tides, waiting, calling.
I have many, many wares.
I am listening. Talia, friend, this burden must be yours to bear. I will take Samuel and meet you by the shrine as soon as we are able.
Those, that looks quite big and nasty.
You there! My friends left me here for dead. Find me north of this hellhole once you have the rod. Look for a pile of these dead bastards.
Right, hold on.
You're a long way from home. Keep your wits about you out there. Tides welcome you. I need to get closer.
We will not falter. You dare oppose House Stormsong?
The friends left for dead, now we leave. Quite frankly, in this game, given that most of my tasks include killing people, anyone I come across that I don't kill needs to take that as a win.
Stormsong will endure.
Oh, there's the thing upstairs.
I welcome those who honor the sea.
Oh, there's a chest somewhere. Maybe not here. Alright, might not be worth looking around for too much.
You're a long way from home.
Try that again. Don't like that big thing. How much health has it got? It has got 500,000 and I have got 37,000. I don't think I should be taking it on. But they are headed in the general direction that I need to be headed. Okay, that didn't work. That fell reaver's not meant to be pulled yet. I'm not intending on pulling something with much more than 10 times my health. Rest assured. Oh, come on, die. Towards me. Alright. Yeah. Well, the Fell Reaver was intended to be pulled at some point at level cap, yes, when we wanted the key.
None can stop the
But I tell you what I could never understand. The people who used to say they got caught by them. You know, the ground used to shake when they were anywhere near you. Well outside pulling range, because they didn't actually have a very large aggro radius either. You really had to get stepped on them to be able to pull. And when they got really close to you, they made like a sound like an air raid siren. I couldn't understand. I could see these things coming a mile off. We're just finishing filling the bar up now.
to the shrine. The fleet's rebirth draws near.
At once, my lord. I need only get rid of a few pests first.
Lay down arms! You double executed!
Do you mean these pests read? End this now. The dead spoke of your coming and your demise.
Look at what you've become! All of this bloodshed is on your hands!
Our destiny is nearly upon us. They must not enter the shrine of the storm. I was merely toying with them, my lord. It shall be done. The fleet will be hers.
Let's get out of here before we're the cornered ones! Come on!
Yeah, I'm going to follow on because I've still got a bar to fill up here. Oh, hello. You're reading the Warcraft Chronicles at the moment. They thought such a great world with so many story hooks. Bit disappointed what they're doing with it. Well, I mean, the Chronicles itself, you know, obviously represents a certain level of retconning as well. I mean, the disappointing thing for me with the Chronicles is just that they said that, you know, they recognise that, you know, we keep changing things. This is us setting it in stone now. We have decided that we've thought about this deeply enough and we're not going to keep changing things. In truth, they never had to change much anyway. There's the odd thing, maybe Warcraft 1, fair enough, they didn't really think about the storylines. Of course, you changed that a bit. But after that, there was no need to change anything. You should have just built on it. It was just lazy writing. Or maybe conceited writing. I always think it's a little bit like with the Lord of the Rings films. You know, there were some changes that Peter Jackson and his writing team had to put in to make it flow, because a film flows differently to a book, and that's fair enough. But there were some things that were put in or taken out, but more usually put in. You can always make an argument for taking certain things out that had no business there, and in actual fact completely changed the dynamic, you know, such as, for example, oh hello, the ring being dropped by Frodo and like Boromir picks it up. And I know what it was trying to show, but what it represented was something that wouldn't have actually happened. Ah, damn it. Should have switched targets. Failing here. Anyway, oh no, what's happened to me bloody... Ah, I hate it when this happens. Pain in the ass. Sorry. Every week it does this. Now what's happened? Got to mess about with it. Do not know what's going on there. Anyway, where was I? Go on. Do I think the way Blizzard is implementing Overwatch 2 might open new possibility to WoW 2? I have no idea what they're doing with Overwatch. I've never played Overwatch. It's the sort of game I would absolutely have liked to have played 20 years ago. But not now. So yeah, I have... if I was still actively playing WoW, I would probably know what you were talking about, just by virtue of the fact that people I was gilded with would have already told me. Or I would just hear conversations about it. But I haven't. Am I going in anything like the right direction? I'm not actually. I've got to go through the arse end of that place again. If they made... Oh, so hold on. If they made a start over with new characters, you probably wouldn't try WoW 2. Oh, right. Well, okay. So when I was playing WoW at some point in the past, I did talk about the concept of WoW 2. If they make another World of Warcraft type MMO, of course you cannot have the same characters. It would be a different game. Completely different game. You know, it wouldn't be World of Warcraft relaunched. It would have... And I actually argued that maybe the end of World of Warcraft would be like Azeroth hatching, basically. You know, Azeroth becoming a Titan proper, and we have to flee to another world, and then you start up your World of Warcraft 2. So it's a completely different scenario there. Although why the Horde and the Alliance would...
When the time comes, I'll be there. Tide sages walk this ceremonial path on their way to be blessed at the shrine.
Is that good?
It's direct.
Yeah, I have no idea why the Horde and the Alliance would end up picking the same planet if they actually did that. But I hadn't thought out the details. But if you had another World of Warcraft MMO, well, it couldn't be the same one. Oh no, I've hurt a horse. I didn't need to hurt a horse. I don't think I meant to hurt a horse anyway.
So much for not being noticed.
But I killed a horse there, sorry.
Was Lord Stormsong always
Looks like quite a nice horse.
Not at all.
I don't think it's a unicorn, though.
Kind before the whispers took him.
Do I also use Herculean Legend during cutting edge content?
Guided us to this valley many years
A combination of that and tell me when, yeah.
And it is I who will deliver us to our glorious future beneath the tide.
You can't use it on its own for cutting edge content because you have to sometimes make decisions.
We just need to reach the altar ahead.
That would not be usual wisdom.
Come on, we're almost there.
You think you stand in my way, but Kultiris' fate was sealed long ago.
Why would they make WoW 2? Well, at the moment you could argue they wouldn't. But, you know, think about it this way. Blizzard, as a game studio, has to keep making new games. At some point, World of Warcraft can't keep going on. It's going to go on for a few years longer. Don't worry about that. Well, I say don't worry. I don't know whether that worries you or not. But it is. I mean, I remember at the 10th anniversary, people were saying, oh, you know, this can't possibly go on to, like, the 20th anniversary. Obviously, I mean, I said the 10th, of course it will. Easily. But, at some point, it will have to stop.
So shall you.
Run! Run!
And at which point... Yes, they could make completely brand new games, but the Warcraft series is one of its main intellectual properties. So of course they're going to do another Warcraft game of some kind, and you know that could potentially be another MMO. Well, I would always argue the ending would be Azeroth Awakening. That would be the natural end to World of Warcraft. They could potentially even do an MMO that's based in the far past. You know, they don't have to base it in the future. It could be based in the past. Some MMOs have sort of done this, haven't they? You know, the War of the Ancients or something. The only problem with that is, you already know the story.
I must ensure Victoria's sacrifice was not in vain. Her staff is the key to opening the way to the shrine.
Can only play Night Elf or Troll. Well, you know, at that time. Oh. It was waiting for me to do a thing.
This darkness shall not bar our path. The shrine.
I mean, there'll be
must
certain
opened
races
once
you won't be able to
more.
play, of course.
Our redemption has come. You have need of me?
But it's some distance away anyway. I mean,
The storm awakens in all of us.
you know, World of Warcraft can keep going on for years more if they wanted to.
Nelly deals for a friend.
I'll end it
of
when
a
they want to end it, really.
Christine. No whispers.
What the hell? Fine. You'd prefer Far Future where everything goes goblin steampunk? No.
Your tendrils of fate shall claim you!
May your soul languish forevermore.
No, I've got to fill a bar up.
You have been found wanting.
Closer to the races.
You could make a new WoW for it, for instance. You see space humans, space elves, and space dogs.
Something first.
I mean, you know, if they wanted to do an MMO, they could always do a StarCraft MMO, couldn't they? I think there's probably more. I mean, I wouldn't be particularly happy about that, but you know, just in general, there might be more scope in that than, say, a Diablo. I don't know. But at some point, they're going to have to do another Warcraft game because it's, you know, it's their main, well, one of their main things. So there is going to have to be another game because, you know, why wouldn't there be? And it wouldn't have to be an MMO or something else. They could do a single player Warcraft game, a single player RPG. That'd be possible.
Do not test my patience.
You stand for naught, but hatred and suffering.
Looks like I need to worry about the bars then up here.
Stars fear hatred and
Game volume a bit loud. Right. I thought we sorted this out earlier. Hold on. Let me put it down a little bit further there. Can you say a bit loud? Alright, we'll try it on this and see how you get on with that. Want to loot it, might have epics. Didn't have epics. What about if they made a Warcraft game where you create a party instead of just one character and your party goes through the game or could cooperate with other parties? You mean like the way I play Baldur's Gate? I just create 6 of my own characters and just wander through it like that. Could do that. That would be possible. Where you'd have the option of you taking control of all of them or other people could. Yeah, could do that. If that's what you mean, that is. I'm not sure they would do that. You could make alts as bodyguards.
Your time has come.
I mean, I sort of, not so much bodyguards, I sort of can, of course. Second account, usually what I would normally do whilst levelling this, I'm not doing, well, apart from anything else, but if I was, you know, in the expansions where I was actually playing the game properly on my main, in all likelihood, once I'd got bored of levelling, I would just boost them on my main. I just have my paladin, and you know, because this is on the second account, and just fly around with them. I don't even have flying.
Did the storm's wake even get here in time?
Patience, Talia. They will come.
Oh dear. What I would usually do when I had to do something on my own as well, I mean, I used to have my paladin before they brought in war mode as well, even if I was going to level on characters, as an actual bodyguard to stop me getting ganked on PvP rounds.
Hang in there, Sam. We're almost there.
I'd just have them flying overhead, and if someone ganked me, I'd swoop down and smash the head in.
At his mind.
Should I be riding him out as well? Oh god. Probably doesn't actually hurt, so just in case.
Tides bless you. It's over, Stormsong. Look around you. You're surrounded.
All I see are lost souls crying for release.
Considering how much the game encourages to make out, there's way too little good replaying elements. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they want to encourage you to create so many arts instead of just... I mean, encourage building the arts, yes, but making you do the same old stuff over and over again. I don't really see there's any need for that. Use this month's XP buff, to start a Volpair. Finished the Heritage Arm achievement, did it in war mode, never met any hostile player until 5 minutes before you hit max level. Okay. Well, I used to meet them too much. Particularly, I mean, it wasn't so bad at the start of an expansion, of course, but later on, I used to see it quite a bit.
All this pain and suffering is your fault! Monster!
Do not let it into your mind. Stay strong.
Have I been playing Classic WoW? Not recently. I did a few weeks ago. I was. And then I ended up playing it too much and on lots of different characters, and I kept starting new characters, and it was all very messy. And then I broke myself out of it.
He's gone.
I went cold turkey and I've beaten it again now.
Be forgotten. Not so long as we stand. It is not safe here. Come. There
I'm
is
not going to be silly enough to try and play it again.
You
Too
like.
dangerous.
I am listening. Do not forget the fallen. We must act now if we are to spare the fleet from Ashara's grasp. We will make Lord Stormsong pay for his transgressions, or
Together we
perish
can
trying.
unify Kotiras.
Right, that's the dungeon, isn't it? Yes. Right, I need to change things around on this UI because that microbar is supposed to be over there. I need to move some other things around before that works. I wonder why I don't have any other legendaries on this character. Don't really have much Wakening Essence either. Disappointing. I might see is it's Easter at the moment. Like I say, although I'm doing full time, I am doing a couple of classes of cover teaching, but obviously not over Easter. I may see if I get time to do a little bit of streaming of something else like ESO on Tuesday. But I'm still at the moment caught in the awkward situation, like I still need to try and work out how to stream using YouTube's new dashboard. I mean, I thought this stream would be in jeopardy because they're
What's the situation? Farewell.
they were supposed to be moving over to the old one, so the new one, moving away from the old one, so you couldn't actually use it at all. But then they didn't do that in the end. Should I do this?
Soldier. Light.
Oh, there it
By
is.
the light. The first strike belongs to us.
The Council of Three Hammers requires me present, but I'd rather be riding me griffin.
So I still need to work out when they do actually properly take it away,
Sleep with one eye open.
how to actually do it on the new one, because I can't work it out at all. I think they should release Shadowlands at a later date to release a polished experience. Yeah, I think any player would always say that we want them to release it when it is fit for release. And obviously a lot of people would complain. Do you know what? I really like Nazmi. A lot of people would complain, of course, if it was, you know, if we had a load of dead time in BfA and it was taking ages for Shadowlands to come out.
Hello.
But you moan a lot more when it comes out and it don't work. But unfortunately, we've seen it over the last few years, haven't we? Not just Blizzard. But, say, Blizzard used to have the reputation of bringing stuff out when it was ready. That actually used to be their reputation. But a lot of studios have just cottoned on to the fact, do you know what? It takes a lot of investment to make a game or an expansion, and they're not getting that money back until they can at least sell the pre-orders. So they want those sold, and if that means it comes out in an unfinished state, so be it. And they know it will, and they just think, we'll just sweeten them up and butter them up and you know, and tell them we're going to fix this, that and the other when it comes out. That just seems to be the meta now in the gaming industry. So I don't think they'll do that. I would like to think they would do that. And I would certainly want them to do that. Easier for me to want them to do it as a casual player now, but even as a raider, I wanted them to do that. The last thing you wanted was a crap experience actually as a raider, because you have to do so much stuff. I mean, I think Legion brought with it a load of extra chores for raiders to do anyway, but you always needed to do so much stuff at the start of an expansion. It was so intense for a raider at the start of an expansion, particularly when you were fitting it around work, just to get everything up and ready. Then for 2 years they lose subscribers. See,
The answers are here.
there's a couple of ways of looking at that. I mean, does it actually matter? Do they care? Because you'd think they would, but remember, the game is no longer a traditional subscription model. You know, if they, every time they release an expansion, get millions of people buying it just to see if it's got better, that the cost of an expansion for an MMO is the same as the cost of a whole game, isn't it? So if those people then don't choose to... Like, what will happen is you'll get a certain number of players that just play the game. They're obviously going to, you know, subscribe for at least a bit, possible, and the dedicated players for the rest of the expansion. Then you've got the people who'll buy the game but won't actually pay for any subscriptions during it. But you've got the game money from them. And then there'll be those who pay for the expansion and they'll be entertained enough for a month or two, so they'll pay subscriptions for a few months before then deciding it's a load of crap, but then they'll still come back for the next expansion. You know, I've already on my other, not on this account, I haven't done it on both accounts because I'm not going to do that. I'm not that silly. But I have paid for the upgrade. I've paid for the Shadowlands pre-order on my other account. Without knowing anything about it. Nothing.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Want your blood?
And that's largely because although I'll be following people playing in the alpha and stuff like that, I'm not really likely to be in it. So I won't get to try it for myself until it launches anyway. So I'm taking the view, well, I'll pay for it and try it out myself. Regardless of how it looks from others' experience, I might get into the beta later on. But the same thing, you know, that they make a fair amount of money off millions of people buying the game, don't they? So if their business model can manage on that, they might not be that bothered. You wish they'd delay if it doesn't mean we get another BfA. Yeah, the players will. The players who want to play World of Warcraft will absolutely want the studio to delay it if that's what's required. But they're only interested in the bottom line, aren't they? Not the game creators as such, the game's designers, but they're not the bosses, the people in charge. They probably still make more money nowadays than they did during 12 million era. Yeah, I think they do. You know, there are so many other sources of revenue. I mean, just things like this, for example. You know, I'll get another WoW token. Oh god, it's gone down. Ugh. But I'll get another WoW token for this character so that I can just buy myself a load of gear when I get to level cap. I used to get 1 or 2 of those a month when I was playing more seriously at times. Because I'd much rather do that than... Oh, I've got to kill more things. Oh, right, yeah. No, I haven't. I've got to click more things. I mean, obviously, if they can attract more subscribers, they're going to still make more money. They're not going to ignore it. But they obviously just feel it's more efficient to do it the way they do it. In fact, the whole gaming industry has, because the whole gaming industry does it.
Inquiring minds just got to know. Travel safe.
What now? I'm going the wrong way. Possibly. Ooh, bat things. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing to her. What does this say?
Want your blood?
I'm missing something there.
The answers are here. I can feel it.
Oh, okay. Yes, I was missing something obvious. Let's have a look. Hold on, what's this? I'm missing something here. Who's number 2 in UK? Number 2 what? Hold on, what? Gone way over the top with handing out mounts. I mean... See, what I would have done with the subscription model is I would give cosmetic rewards for subscribing, but not this pay for 6 months all at once and get a mount. That's no good. Because, you know, there's a lot of people, they're going to look at that and think 6 months worth, if I'm not really enjoying the game, that's not great. Whereas, you know, if you got some like currency each month or something, and then you could use it on sort of stuff you wanted on the online store, and maybe it works out at like a pet each month or a mount every 3 months or something, or you could use it for some services. You know, that would be an incentive then to get people. So as long as you could get something that people would want with each month's subscription, because then all of a sudden, particularly if you get your designers to come up with something special, you know, you're talking about some... What is it? I'm trying to think of... You know, Elder Scrolls Online sometimes... Well, they do actually. I need to show you on Tuesday. On Elder Scrolls Online, you get rewards for that for logging in every day. And just for logging in every day, not for doing some bloody world quest or something. And if you log in every day for a month, you can get some nice stuff, and some of it is cosmetic mounts and pets and stuff.
Loads of forgotten knowledge are within our grasp.
If they did something like that, you know, that would... People would then look at it and think, yeah, okay, I'll pay £9 for that. Maybe some months they'll look at it and think, I'm not going to pay £9 for that. But then, you know, they'll just keep looking in. I mean, what much it costs for a pet on the store anyway? So that's about a month's subscription anyway. So why not create new pets just for each month and just say, look, if you subscribe this month, you get this. And if you don't subscribe this month, if it comes to next month, you won't be able to get it. It's gone. Because that's another thing ESO do. And I know a lot of people don't like the idea of an online store type model, which is fine. But at the end of the day, it's good for encouraging you to stay subscribed, because it's like, well, this thing is available, and they don't bring it out later on for you to get some other way. If they say this thing is available until this date, they mean it. I mean, the fact that I haven't played Elder Scrolls Online for basically a year will mean I'll have missed out on some things that I would have thought I would have quite liked. But that's it. They've just gone.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
Yeah, the sub for 6 months is no good, because 6 months outlay is a lot of money. Whereas 1 month's outlay is not a lot of money. For some people obviously it is. But you know, for enough people that would take advantage of it, it's not. The other problem with the 6 months for a mount is it's not 6 months for a mount for some people. Like, you know, I have been subscribed. I've had 2... Even though I've not been playing BfA, really, except right for the first few months, I have still maintained my subscriptions on 2 whole accounts. How many mounts have I got out of that? None at all. Not one. So they shouldn't have... If they were going to do it for 6 months, which is stupid, but if they were going to, they shouldn't have done it for buy the 6 month all in one go. They should have just done... They should have just said, if you stay subscribed, or if you subscribe for the next... Oh, am I a herbalist? No, I'm not. For the next 6 months, then you will get this mount. And if you buy all 6 months at one, you can get the mount now, or otherwise you'll get it at the point at which you've paid for the 6 months. So if you get it every 3 months, which is what I do, then when you've paid for your second 3 months worth, then you would get the mount. If they did that, then that would be better as well. I'll just skirt around the... Do I go skirt through or go through? Let's skirt around the outside. There was a free fly pet offer in EFO. Have I got ESO? Have I got it? I can't remember. I can't remember without going on to it. I'll need to reinstall my add-ons on that as well, although I only had a couple of add-ons for ESO because I play it casually, so I didn't need a lot. Really, it's the Sky Shards Hunter and another one, I think. I made a proper arse when I put the new hard drive in the SSD. I made a right arse of it. Completely wiped my secondary hard drive in the process. Right, balls it was made.
Inquiring minds just got to know. The truth is out there.
If they copied pasted ESO's Paragon system with WoW artifact nonsense. Yeah, I mean, you know, I've said it before. ESO gets so many things right. For the casual game, ESO is far superior to WoW. You know, obviously I'll still want to play WoW because I've played Warcraft since Warcraft 1. From fairly soon after Warcraft 1 came out, I was playing it. And I've played all of the sort of versions of Warcraft. And so there's a certain amount in which I'm invested in it and would like to keep playing it. At the same time, the reality is, unless something changes in my work life pattern, I am simply not going to have time to spend much time on computer games. And if Shadowlands doesn't do it for me, I'm not going to persist just for the sake of the story. I didn't in BfA. I would have carried on playing BfA casually had I the time to do it, but I didn't. So I just watch things on YouTube, really. You know, cutscenes and cinematics and stuff. doing here? I'm just killing trolls. I must be doing something. I don't seem to be doing anything else. I am actually killing trolls. Tough trolls. What's going on here? Really tough trolls. What the hell is going on? Why are the trolls so tough? Are they healing each other? Oh, crap. It's done the thing again. Alright, sorry about this. It keeps doing this. I do not know why it keeps doing this. I mean, technically I've now reinstalled XSplit as well. When you say my game sounds are very loud, right, okay. People keep like, I keep changing them and then saying, is that working? And then people don't seem to say no. So, when I've sorted this mess out again, I'll put them down again, and then you have to tell me, because I can't tell, because obviously they're adjusted for me, and they sound fine to me. Right, I'll put it to 15, and then you can tell me what that sounds like. But yeah, I don't know at what point it cut me off. Just for a second. Oh, it's done it again. Right, there's something weird here, isn't there? Oh, so when they get a bleed on me, I need to run away, do I? Because that's healing them. I see. I see. But that isn't helping me. Run away, run away, run away, run away. This is an absolute horseshit mechanic. Lower it by... okay. Right. It's on like 10% now. I won't be able to hear anything. Until I adjust my headphones. Well, I used to do that, and I suppose still technically would. The main problem with putting the old dialogue up and sounds down is it seems to make no difference now, because whenever I listen to a cinematic, even though I have music down to 0, in a cinematic the music appears again and it always drowns out the dialogue. And there's no setting I can change on that, because I have music at 0 anyway. Can't put it lower than 0. Alright, so apparently there is something else I'm supposed to do. I've got to go into other huts as well then. Time. Oh god, I've only got 5 minutes anyway. And I've got to get off. There. Alright, probably not going to finish this. Oh no, this had better not be that nonsense with the... It is, isn't it? Gonna die. Alright, well maybe that's a good time to finish it. I'll just get my body back.
was an impressive death.
But yeah, I think what I'll try and do is on Tuesday, I need to try and work out how I can stream from the new dashboard. I don't know why it should be so difficult. Well, I say difficult, at the moment impossible. And maybe on Tuesday night, try and get some ESO on. And then I can see where I am with that. I need to do some more levelling on my Stamina Templar, because I may wish to use him for the new expansion. At least for a little bit. Probably go back to the Magicka DPS Templar after that, because that's always so much easier to do everything with.
I have many wares. May your feet find good trails.
So I'm just going to junk all this stuff and then call it a day, I think. Oh, upstairs. Quick question about ESO. Do they add content to previous DLCs too? Is it WoW like recent dish it idea? There are DLCs. Now, in terms of exactly how it works, I can never be too sure because I just pay for the subscription, so I just get everything. So the way I think it works in ESO is you buy the expansion, you get the expansion, you get the content with that. Then there'll be other DLCs which are like mini expansions for which you pay, unless you're a subscriber, in which case it's just all included. But there are other ones that they bring out periodically. But yeah, I'll try and put a stream on Tuesday. It'll more likely be an hour before this one started. So rather, this one was like 8 to 10 UK time. I'll put it on for 7 to 9 UK time, because Morrowind is an expansion. Yeah. So the expansions were, let me get this right. So there was Morrowind, Somerset. I've got an inkling I'm missing one out. What was the one we've just had? The one right now with the dragons. There's Morrowind, Somerset, the dragons one, which I've forgotten the name of. Actually, that might be Somerset, and I might be thinking, but there's been 3, and we're about to get the 4th one. Yeah, and then there's other elsewhere. That's it. Thank you very much. Yeah. See, I don't play it very often. And then I can't even remember the name of the new one. Like Ravenmoor or something, Greymoor or something, I don't know. But there you go. Yeah, I don't actually know what Morrowind players, as in players of the Morrowind game, think of the Morrowind expansion. But, you know, I gather there's a lot in there that would get you interested. But anyway, I have to bomb off now. I've just had a buzz from that. So... as I say, I will make a stream on Tuesday because I'm certain I'll have the time, because, you know, I should do. But until then, or if you're about then anyway, but it'll be Elder Scrolls Online. Thanks for coming on. I will see you later.